Om Sarashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmaracharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. Good. Be seated, please. Good. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahavidyan Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Very good. Nice to see you all this morning. There's an important introduction for today's meditation. Many of you know that, let me turn this up just a little bit. Here at this ashram and elsewhere, meditation is taught for the sake of preparation for atma-vichara. Atma-vichara, self-inquiry, is the primary practice of Advaita Vedanta. And Shankara, in his works and commentaries, is very clear that meditation alone will never lead you to enlightenment. And I'll explain why that's so in just a moment. On the other hand, if we say that enlightenment alone will not make you enlightened, we can equally say without meditation, you won't become enlightened. And again, this is we'll conclude with some background to those statements. Yeah. Okay, so we'll start with a comparison that I don't often make, and that is comparing this process of atma-vichara or Vedanta to science. You've heard me say that Vedanta is not science, because science is an inquiry into the nature of the world, and I'll wait for everyone to be seated. And as I've mentioned before, the introduction to these sessions is very short, so please be on time for the introduction. Vedanta is not science because it's focused not on the world, it's focused within, which is completely the opposite of science in that regard. But in one regard, it's alike. It's similar to science, and it's similar to science in the sense that both are an analytical pursuit of truth. Maybe analytical might not be the right word, but an investigation, a kind of investigation in search of truth. So the investigation of science is out in the world, the investigation of Vedanta is within. So in that sense, they're alike. They're both an investigation in search of truth. And they're also like in one other regard. I've never made this metaphor. In science, a very typical procedure in science is to make a hypothesis about something. I think it works like this, is your hypothesis. And then you have to go into the laboratory and test your hypothesis. So a hypothesis is just an idea. There's no truth to that idea until and unless you can go into the laboratory and prove that your idea, your hypothesis was correct. To some extent, that metaphor can be applied to Vedanta in that this is not 100% correct, but it's helpful. I have to put parentheses around all my words sometimes. And the reason for that is we can't say that the scriptures give us a hypothesis. That's actually incorrect. And for many technical reasons that I don't want to get into right now, which is why I'm putting these hypotheses, parentheses around this. But if you were, just for the time being, to imagine that the scriptures give us a hypothesis. Again, it's not merely a hypothesis, but suppose you treat the scriptures in that way. The hypothesis is your true nature is Satchidananda Atma. That's like a hypothesis given by our scriptures. And then, of course, you have to go into the metaphoric laboratory to test it out. So far, it's just a hypothesis. You have to find out, is this hypothesis true? Is it true in your own experience? In science, you go into a laboratory. In Vedanta, in this process of atma-vichara, you go within yourself. And in the metaphor, the laboratory here is your mind, clearly. Mind is the laboratory. Mind is where thinking takes place. Mind is where ignorance is located. And mind is where consciousness is present. Full stop. Consciousness is present in your mind. It's not remote from your mind. Consciousness is present in your mind. Therefore, it is available for this kind of so-called experiment. And the experiment we're talking about is in meditation. You have an opportunity to verify whether or not the so-called hypotheses given by the scriptures are right or not. This is a not completely correct metaphor. And like I said, Vedanta cannot properly be considered a metaphor for certain technical reasons that I don't want to get into right now because that's not our topic. But let's stay with this idea of mind as a laboratory. That's really the purpose of today's introduction and meditation. Your mind is like a laboratory. So if a scientist goes into a laboratory, the laboratory has to be set up properly. Otherwise, they can't perform any experiments. So the laboratory has to be, first of all, laboratory has to be clean, free from contaminants, right? That's a pretty obvious metaphor for your mind. Mind has to be clean in the sense that free from mental impurities. And further than that, the laboratory has to be properly equipped. There are many kinds of laboratory equipment and fancy instruments, sometimes costing millions of dollars, that have to be installed in a laboratory to make it suitable for those experiments. Fortunately, you don't have to spend any money at all preparing this laboratory. You don't need fancy instruments. You don't need glass labware, as you find in some chemical kind of laboratories. But there's a very important kind of preparation, equipment that needs to be established. Not exactly equipment, but let's make it very clear. It is necessary to use your mind as a laboratory. It is necessary that as a minimum, two factors. One factor is your mind has to be under control. Can you imagine if a scientist has no control over his or her laboratory and everyone is in there making a mess? It's going to be a problem. So you have to be in control of your mind, which means you have to be able to manage thoughts. And then secondly, and this is the further requirement, the mind has to be, the metaphor is like a laboratory free from contaminants. We want a mind free from thoughts, a perfectly quiet mind. Should a laboratory be relatively free from contaminants or completely free from contaminants? That's pretty obvious. So should your mind be relatively silent for the sake of this atma-vichara, or should your mind be completely silent? Now, that may sound intimidating, except for the fact that the experiment in the laboratory may take hours or days, depending. The experiment, it's not really an experiment, the inquiry that you're performing in the mind can be done in just a few moments. And that's very significant because you only have to make your mind silent, perfectly silent, but only for a few moments. So that's not an intimidating requirement, but it is a requirement that you can only meet if your mind is controlled, if your mind is well trained. So today we're going to do a meditation exercise which is specifically meant for training the mind in such a way that you can bring the mind to a state of perfect silence. That's actually, I've mentioned recently that we are going to restart our advanced meditation sessions, which will also be available online. And those advanced meditation sessions have a prerequisite. We're not going to keep anyone out of those sessions, but there is a prerequisite, and a prerequisite we've just discussed. You have to be able to control your mind and make it silent for at least a few moments. Now, you're not going to be questioned before you come to that advanced meditation session. Have you met these prerequisites? It's up to you to determine. It's not up to me to determine. But I can guarantee you, if you're not able to do that, those sessions will not be useful for you. Those sessions will presume that as a minimum, you can control your mind in meditation and make it perfectly silent for a few moments. So this meditation session will help you then get prepared for those advanced meditation sessions. And those advanced meditation sessions are closely linked to this process of atma-vichara, which is the central practice in Advaita Vedanta. So we'll loop back to my opening comments, where I said that meditation alone is not sufficient. Suppose a scientist spends all his or her time preparing the lab, kind of cleaning every glass beaker is cleaned and all the instruments are set up and carefully calibrated and all of this stuff. Suppose the scientist or researcher goes on doing that day after day, week after week, month after month, without performing any experiments. The lab is perfectly set up, but for what purpose? You can draw a conclusion from that metaphor. it suggests that if all your attention in spiritual life is exclusively given to meditation, it's like preparing the laboratory. You're missing out on the most important thing. The most important thing in the laboratory is to perform experiments. And the most important thing in spiritual life is to perform atma-vichara. Fine, the laboratory has to be cleaned and prepared. Fine, we need meditation. We need a lot of meditation to be prepared. But that's not enough. So today, let us understand very simply and then practice how we train our minds, like cleaning the laboratory, how we train our minds to make our minds suitable for atma-vichara, for self-inquiry, a form of self-inquiry that is done specifically in a state of meditation. The basic principle of training the mind is so incredibly simple. It's if we begin with the right understanding. And the right understanding is meditation is a learned skill. That's it. If meditation is a learned skill, how do you learn it? How do you learn any skill? How do you learn to cook? By cooking. How do you learn to play tennis? By playing tennis. Yes, lessons can help. Having someone give you recipes can help. But if someone tells you how to hold a racket and you never practice, you'll never learn tennis. If you go on collecting recipes and you never cook anything, you won't learn how to cook. You get the point. There are lots of things that can help, but the essence of learning to play tennis is playing tennis. Learning to cook means cooking. Learning any skill requires being engaged in that particular activity. I'm just pausing now with a funny extension. The way you learn to do brain surgery is there's always a first patient, right? A little dicey. But actually, you know, the way medicine works is as an intern, you are working with a famous brain surgeon for years before you perform your first brain surgery under the watchful eye of your mentor. So you don't, if you have a surgery, don't be afraid. You can imagine you ask your doctor, hey, tell me, am I your first patient? That might be a little bit of an embarrassing question to ask your doctor. Anyway, the metaphor should not be taken to that extent. Our metaphor is very simple. You learn to meditate by meditating. But now, what does it mean to meditate? And here, we have a very specific meditation. This definition, we have a very specific definition of meditation, which comes from Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, the source scripture for all forms of meditation. And meditation is defined as having all of your mental activities focused on one point, one thing, so that there are no stray thoughts, no stray activities of your mind. Your mind is 100% devoted to a particular meditation. And the best example of that is if the meditation, Patanjali just prescribes many kinds of meditation and many kinds of alambanas, objects of meditation. And the most common alambana, object of meditation used, is a mantra, which is a technique we frequently do here. So the principle then of meditation is to simply focus your mind on the mantra. How obvious is that? How simple is that? Then meditation means to focus your mind on the mantra. When your mind wanders from the mantra, meditation stops. So what do you have to do? Bring your mind back to the mantra. Then you're meditating. Your mind wanders again, you bring it back again. Your mind wanders again and again and again, you bring it back each and every time. My guru had his own definition for meditation. It was different than Patanjali's. His definition was bringing your mind back is meditation. Very practical. So, if you can do that, anyone can do that. But here's the key. Doing it a little gives you a little bit of skill. A little bit of skill is not enough. To make your mind controlled and capable of a few moments of silence doesn't require just a little bit of practice. It requires a significant amount of practice. That suggests a daily practice of meditation. We won't talk about that further today, but that's crucial. The purpose of these sessions is to encourage you to have a daily practice of meditation. But then, more importantly, in each session of meditation, the practice has to be done properly. Let me end with this observation. If you go out on a tennis court holding the racket incorrectly, by practicing with that incorrect, by the way, I don't know anything about tennis, don't think I do, but I presume that there's a right way to hold the racket, and presumably the handle is down and the round thing is up. I think there's a little bit more to it than that, but sorry for being silly. So the point is, if you hold the racket incorrectly and practice with that incorrect grip, guess what? You're going backwards. You are inculcating a bad habit. This is the opposite of what you want to do. It's crucial that each time you go and practice, that you have the proper grip on that. I learned this when I was a young man learning classical music. I played the Spanish classical guitar, and there was a lot of fancy technique to learn, and I was told, if you practice with wrong technique, you are reinforcing the wrong technique. How will you ever come out of the wrong technique and learn to play properly? That's when tennis I don't know, but something about music I do know. So applying this principle, it's crucial then in every meditation session, like the one we're about to do, that you are absolutely diligent in your practice. Meaning, every time your mind wanders from the mantra, you bring it back immediately. Again and again. Doesn't make any difference how many times, but to the extent you can, you keep your mind focused on the mantra. Achieving, the goal is what Patanjali calls chitta ekagrata. Beautiful expression. One-pointedness of mind. That's our goal. So the mantra we will use, a very familiar mantra, Om Namah Shivaya. And in pronunciation, Namaha Shivaya becomes Namash Shivaya, which merges and becomes namah shivaya. Om namah shivaya. And with this introduction, we will begin. All right, let's get ready. Close your eyes, please. Take a deep breath. Take a moment to get settled down. We begin with a sankalpa, in which we acknowledge the fact that we have busy, complicated lives with lots of unresolved issues. Unresolved issues that can distract us when we try to meditate. So right now, we acknowledge the unresolved problems in our lives and we give ourselves permission to set all that aside just for the next 20 minutes. For the next 20 minutes, we can dedicate ourselves exclusively to this practice of meditation. Next, a brief exercise to relax the body and concentrate the mind. Start by turning your attention to your feet. Become aware of the sense of pressure as your feet press down upon the floor. Feel the firmness of the floor beneath you. Be aware of other sensations, warmth, coolness, touch of your clothing, and notice if there's any tension in the muscles of your feet, and let go of that tension. Then turn to your ankles and calves in the same way. Become aware of sensations, pressure, warmth, coolness, touch of your clothing. Notice any tension in your ankles and calves and let go of that tension. Then your knees and thighs. Become aware of sensations. For example, notice the weight of your hands or arms where they rest, and let go of any tension. Now the trunk of your body, feel the weight of your body pressing down on the seat. Feel the firmness of the seat beneath you. Let go of any tension. Your lower back and stomach together. Let go of any tension. Your upper back and chest. Notice the touch of your clothing that hangs on your body. Let go of any tension in your shoulders, upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, fingers, right up to your fingertips. Let go of any tension. In the back of your neck, head, face, throughout your body. Let go of any remaining tension. We'll begin by chanting Om 3 times, quite softly. And be sure to match my pitch. We'll begin chanting aloud. After a while, we'll chant softly. Finally, we'll chant in silence. Listen and repeat at first. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Repeat. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Listen. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Listen to that pitch. Om Namah Shivaya. Sorry. Om Namah Shivaya. Repeat that. Om Namah Shivaya. Listen. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Listen and repeat once more. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 We'll recite together now. We'll recite quite slowly and with complete concentration. Join me, please. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Don't be in a hurry for the next part. Om Namah Chant with me. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Wait. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Just a little more softly. Om Chant silently now, in silence. Om Tat Sat.